Yeah, well, she's working through all these things, and she's into that, so that's fine. But
all right, welcome to our video today. We have my dad, Gary Stevens, and my husband, Jeff Gasper. And over the last year or so, a little bit longer, my dad has made a health transformation, really. And so he's taken little baby steps as he's gone through his journey. He hasn't done everything all at once. He's taken baby steps, and it actually started first with fascia blasting. So I grabbed fascia blasters so you could see what they look like, and used these for back pain.
yes, in the shower.
You had so much back pain that you had to leave work at times, correct?
Yeah, the spasms were pretty debilitating at times. Couldn't find a comfortable sleep position. And so, as a part of fixing this over the years, which I've done other things, but that's where I started. I would massage myself with it.
And so if you use these fascia blasters on your joints, your ligaments, then you get the blood flow moving and untangling your blood vessels, your nerve endings, and it really provides a lot of relief when your body is hurting. And so then you moved into, let's see, you started taking energy bits when you worked the night shift, working nighttime.
Yeah. Yep. And that seemed to be helpful. I would, instead of drinking an energy drink or coffee, I still would have a couple of cups of coffee on my overnight shifts, but I would take a few energy bits, and it seemed to perk me up a little bit.
And do you remember you were taking energy bits, or do you remember the difference for you? Do you feel more energy, or?
I would say that I've seen more of a detox with the chlorella tablets than the energy bits. I've kind of struggled with my energy.
We're still working on his energy. And okay, so next phase was you got a water distiller.
I did.
And we have a water distiller also. So your story is interesting because you didn't notice the detox reaction like we did. But why do you like your water distiller?
Well, the water distiller for me was the thing that put me over the top is you sent me the link to my region of water and what was in the water that I would drink, the tap water, because what's allowed by law is different than what you kind of want. Like there were ingredients in my water that they're okay with the water company, but like really I'm drinking that percentage of this arsenic or whatever it is in my water. So I know you can't eliminate everything, but the distiller was obviously a healthier option. And I was so tired of logging bottles back and forth from the grocery store. And I used the 5-gallon bottles, and I went to Walmart, and the water dispenser thing was filthy. And I know they have the UV lights in there, but you know, it just looked dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with the other grocery stores that I went to. So I started running that distiller, and number one, I probably more than any other, I like the convenience.
Yeah.
Like I work 4 days in a row and have the weekends off. I can usually build up enough water by running the distiller to not have to run it the week when I'm working, because I'm single. You know, for me, making a gallon of water is a lot more than like a family. But it just became easy to just use it, and then on the days off, then I can clean it. Mine's way cleaner than yours. But it's it's been a real comfort to have that access to it. I don't think it's saving me any money because I have to pay electricity to run the machine,
Right.
but it certainly saves the back carrying 5-gallon
Jugs.
and then how much time do you spend standing there at the grocery store waiting for your bottle to fill?
Right.
And then, you know, I would be ridiculous and I'd be like, okay, I can go get 3 things and get back to this machine in time. And then I go get my 3 things and come back and it's like overflowing and I feel bad and I look stupid. So yeah, I'm really happy that I bought that. It was a good purchase for me.
Yeah. Do you remember when we got our water distiller?
We were amazed at all the stuff that was in the water that it was pulling out. In our neighborhood, we have, I think, at least 5 people that have different forms of cancer or leukemia, and our water is incredibly toxic. So
Yeah, so the reactions that we had when we first started on the water distiller were, I remember Jeff having terrible headaches, and that's a detox reaction. That's can be a sign of you detoxing when you switch to something clean, when you've been taking something, you're drinking in something that's not clean. And we were purchasing our water also, and so for our family, we noticed a lot of detox. And we had 4 at the time when we purchased our countertop distiller, and I was running it 3 times a day probably, but it was doable. And so we just used the countertop distiller, and it's very effective in getting you clean water. And the website that Dad was talking about is the EWG.org, Environmental Working Group. It creates a database where all the water in the area is being taken, it's being tested, and they track all of that. So that's what he was talking about. You can look up your zip code and see how clean or how dirty the source of water is that you're drinking, your groundwater, or the municipal water. So very, very helpful. Look into that and check out if your water is clean or not. So then the next step was you decided to break down and invest in a sauna. Yes. I think that was the next step.
Yep.
In your journey.
And other than the switch from cloth diapers to disposables when you guys were all little, when the kids were little, it's probably the best purchase I've ever made. Do you want me to tell the story of why I started with the sauna?
Yeah.
Well, Angela always had a sauna, and we kind of knew that, and thinking, yeah, well, she's working through all these things, and she's into that, so that's fine. But I roofed my house. I had a tree come down, go through my roof, and so I roofed my house, and I did most of the work myself, and I decided to put an aluminum shingle on. And so it was the whole summer, all my time off that I had, and up there on that hot roof, and I would sweat a lot. And I got through that, and the next summer, I said, okay, I roofed my house last year, and I worked really hard, so this summer I'm going to relax and take it easy. And I was amazed at how awful I felt taking it easy. And I remembered how great I felt when I was roofing the house. And I'm carrying 80-pound boxes of aluminum shingles up and down ladders and sweating. And I had this voice in my head that just said, I was changing my shirt a half dozen times a day when I was roofing, just all the sweat. And I had the thought to buy a sauna, and I bought a high-end one. I think I spent about $6,000, and got the eucalyptus wood and all the bells and whistles. And up to that point, I was probably going to the chiropractor 1 to 2 times a month. I had slowed that down quite a bit with the foundation training and the fascia blasting, but I still had back pain.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been to the chiropractor since I bought the sauna, and I remember the first couple of weeks, and you warned me about this. You know, start slow,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never started slow at anything, so I probably overdid it a little bit. But the first couple of weeks, my sweat tasted like metallic, bitter something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't right. And then I got through that period of time, and it's been a complete game changer for me physiologically. I feel better. My blood pressure has gotten even better with the sauna use. It was interesting. I didn't use the sauna for a few days, and then my pressure went up to 150 something over 98.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then I thought I better get back in. So I did an hour at 155 the other day, and the next day checked the pressure, and it was back down to the 120s over 80s level. So it's been helpful for my cardiovascular health. I know it has, but the big plus has been the pain, and I have built my way up to an hour at over 150. And when I hit that level, I also again noticed that metallic taste for a few days.
Yeah.
So I know I was going a little deeper, but that's been, I think everybody should have a sauna. I can't imagine living without it now.
So what's your hour? I mean, you spend an hour in the sauna. What's your hour look like?
Okay, so I'm not like you. I get it turned on, and I wait for it to get really hot.
Yeah.
So
And I turn mine on for 5 minutes, and then I get on when it's like 90 degrees and warm up with it. So it's like the frog being cooked in the pot, just slowly. He waits. He jumps in.
So I'll get it into the 140s at least, and then I will get in, and it's been really good for my oral hygiene because I brush my teeth before I go in the sauna, because I know I have dental floss in the sauna because you're sitting in there doing nothing. I do have speakers in there so I can listen to things, and I will have an audio book or some type of music that I'm listening to, and then I'll have I have to have 4 towels because I will saturate, maybe not completely saturate 4 towels, but I will get 4 towels very, very sweaty. And I don't want to get all the sweat on the wood in my sauna.
Yeah.
I'd rather just not get all that into the wood. So I have 2 towels that I sit on. One's on the backrest. One's on the floor because my heat comes from the sides. And I'll get in and just take the first few minutes and sit there and hydrate. So I bring in 2 of the metal quart water bottles with my rehydration mixture that I use. And I'll just sit there and, have a little something to drink and chill for a few minutes. And then I'll start my exercise routine where I will do either some type of, sometimes I'll just floss my teeth during that first period of time because I've really found that I like flossing my teeth in the sauna. Nobody wants to take the time to floss your teeth, but when you're sitting there doing nothing, you might as well do something worthwhile. So
I like
do
to
that.
cut my toenails in the sauna, so.
Okay. So
The
then
truth
I'll
comes out.
then I'll usually do some type of I'll stand, and in the book Born to Run 2, there's a program to build yourself up to run. There's some standing exercises, some sitting exercises that you can do, and I'll do that a little bit. Then I'll stand up, and I might do a little bit of foundation training Foundation Training has a wonderful program where you a shout out to them because that's life changing as well. But they do a breathing decompression for the spine. I used to have an inversion table. I need to sell it because I don't use it anymore. When you do that decompression through your breathing, I'll do some decompression breathing and movement, and then I'll get the fascia blaster out and go up the legs.
Yes.
Yep, I'll go up the legs, the knees, and then do the back. I have that one, and I have the one with the bigger knobs, and I'll do that. And at that point, I have pretty much saturated the towel at the bottom of the sauna with all the sweat. I'm kind of ready to take a break, sit down. So I'll sit down, really rehydrate it again, and then just get into a comfortable position.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm working on my feet, I can sometimes do the toe splay type of workouts, or my sauna is a 2-person, so I have the room to get on my knees and squat on my toes. I can do a lot of different movements. I think if I were buying a sauna again, I might even consider spending the money on a 3-person, just so I have a little bit more room in there to monkey around with a variety of movements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want a 1-person. I think it would drive me insane. I think I'd want more. If I bought another one, I'll buy a bigger one.
So I have a 1-person sauna, and so there's not a lot of room for moving around. So I do fascia blasting in my sauna, and I do listen to podcasts. I have my phone sitting outside of my sauna, and I'm listening to podcasts during that time. And so yeah, it'd be really nice to be able to move around and work out and stuff.
Yeah, if I ever start to travel, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure at this point that I'll ever sell the house, because it's a great thing.
Yeah. And so then you started changing your diet.
Yes, and that's kind of the newest. Like, I'm just rediscovering the bone broth, not rediscovering, but learning about the bone broth, getting away from my goodness, frozen pizza,
Pretzels.
Yep. A lot of the snacks that I used to have, I just feel better. So I don't know if you guys are so young, but like when you get to be my age and you eat the wrong thing, you know that you can't be eating that anymore.
That's why I don't.
And so, I feel like I'm making the hope is to get the cellular health thing going.
Yes.
I want to build my cells. They just aren't the old gray matter ain't what you used to be. So that's the new thing.
I think you text me, oh my goodness. I think you said OMG, diet change is the real deal. This is amazing how you don't have the pain anymore. And
well, I lost some weight initially.
Yeah.
And the tapestry of all the things that I'm doing are creating vascular health. I used to have some really clumpy varicose veins in the front of my right leg that were painful. The vascular pain was bothering me, making me worried. Am I going to throw a clot here? But those veins have all gone down, and the diet, I initially lost about 12 pounds, and then I'm not really noticing a lot of weight loss now, maybe because I got comfortable and started overeating the good food.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm noticing, change in the shape of my body. So I think what I really need to focus on now is a little bit more of the intermittent fasting and smaller portions, and a little bit more strength work. I'm 60. I think if I do strength work, keep my muscle tone up, I think I'll end up seeing more weight loss if I can control my portions. But the the changes to organic, I think, have been good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. You know, there is not a day that goes by where they don't have donuts at my work. You know, and I just don't eat the fat pills anymore.
That's good. That's good. It's,
I know Ann just changed my diet over the years. I used to be a big chip guy. The Doritos, you know, the things that'll kill you. But I had severe carpal tunnel from my job. Like it was so severe, I could feel it in my shoulders and up my arms. And she had me cut gluten and sugar, and those two things went away.
carpal tunnel.
The carpal tunnel went away. I don't struggle with that pain anymore, and
Your knee pain did too.
my knee pain did also. So I've always, playing sports growing up, I'd always be the one that sprained an ankle, or I had knee surgery at 18, removing torn cartilage, and I can play sports and I don't have the sprained ankles anymore. So diet change has really helped me. I'm not fully on board with the saunas yet, but I'm usually, if I feel like I'm getting sick, I will do the saunas and I will knock it right out. So I know there's definitely health benefits. I just don't enjoy them.
I think it would be fun to do a follow-up video to this after I take it the next year and really get away from artificial ingredients more.
Yeah.
You know, I weigh 209 now. I was up in the 220s, but I'd really like to get back down into, you know, the weight I was when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I need to just get a little bit more comfortable with my portion sizes being lower.
Well, and are you training for a marathon? Are you thinking about training for a marathon? Because you're starting to run now too, now that you don't have all the pain.
Well, yeah. I bought a bike years ago because I went out and ran 2 miles and I thought my running days were over.
Yeah.
And so I've been cycling, and just recently I've realized I had some foot pain, and it was a Morton's neuroma that was in my right foot, and did a little research and realized that I was wearing shoes that were pinching. You know, average running shoes will pinch the front of your foot. They don't allow that wide toe box, and they don't allow your toes to spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought some wide shoes, toe spacers, and took care of that. And now I'm getting really into the barefoot shoe thing.
Yeah.
I've been able to run 5 miles, but I'm finding that I have to be careful because I ran 5 miles in my barefoot zeros, and it was okay. But then all of a sudden I realized, you know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this quickly, because I've only been into zero drop shoes for a month and been into barefoot shoes for about 2-3 weeks. And you have to be careful with that transition, or you can hurt yourself. Yeah. So I've got an online coach now. Shout out to Barefoot Strength, because I'm really enjoying his stuff and his help. But I don't know if I'm going to, you know, really push the running thing forward right now. I think I really need to get that muscle tone, and the body shape back, the nutrition back, but the pain, being able to do things without pain. I mean,
it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, what a ripoff! You get to be 60 years old, you've worked your whole life, and you can't even move anymore. And that's not happening here. No way. I'm going to keep doing these things. And the big thing that I'm training for right now is I'm going to do my first 14er
Yep.
in June.
Nice.
I'm going to go out and see the kids in Colorado, and I'm going to hike Pikes Peak,
Okay.
Lord willing.
Uh-huh.
Want to get out there, do the Manitou Springs Incline a few times and get acclimated, and then I'm going up that mountain. I'm gonna read the story of Caleb again before I go
Yep.
up that mountain.
Yep.
But, yeah,
Go conquer it.
yeah, but I mean, I there have been times in the last few years where I couldn't really move very easily. But roofing my house, I was worried about it. I thought, okay, am I going to be able to do this? And if not, the backup plan was, I'll pay the roofer $20,000 and have him finish it for me.
Right.
But I was able to do it. And that's just kind of the message is that sweating is good for you. Movement is necessary.
Mhm.
And if you stop doing those two things, you know what? When I read Born to Run, a good book for anybody interested in kind of getting their foot health back, and there was a quote in there like people don't stop running. Oh, I can't remember exactly. You're probably gonna have to edit this now, but it's like you don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running, I think is kind of what it says. And looking back to my grandmother, your great grandmother, lived to be 100, and that woman just wouldn't stop moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that not everybody's gifted with that ability to live that long, but the fact that she wouldn't stop moving, and she was always doing stuff. She was not a couch potato at all. Probably contributed to her longevity. And I want to capture that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do believe that sometimes you are forced to stop moving because you aren't sweating. And if you're not sweating, you're not able to detoxify. And so it's going to lock your body up and not allow you to be able to move. And so they go hand in hand. You've got to be able to keep moving, but part of that is keep sweating.
Yeah, and don't discount hydrating.
Right.
Because when you're...
Drink your water, clean water.
Me, I like to push the envelope. I'm always doing that. So when I first started using the sauna, the kidney stone issue became, I had solved the kidney stone issue with the apple cider vinegar, lemon water.
Yep.
And then I got away from it. And then all of a sudden realized, you know what? I have to keep pushing this stuff. So I get into the sauna with 2 quarts of hydration fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And don't start saunaing without drinking lots of fluids. You've got to push. You got to give your body something to work with if you're going to try to sweat out your toxins.
I usually have a big container like this one's full of water and one's full of apple cider water. Apple cider vinegar water.
Yeah.
For reloading those minerals.
Yeah, we won't be doing apple cider water.
Apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
We need to get this guy on board.
I know.
But you've got to make sure that you I've always been the kind of person that I can jump into most things and it doesn't bother me too much.
Mm-hmm.
But you should start slow with this stuff.
Yeah.
But what a lifestyle. You
Yeah.
know?
It's amazing to be able to live pain-free, or if you do start having pain, you know what to do about it and how to take care of it.
Yeah, I don't know the physiological dynamics, but I know that probably something that was lingering in my joints or the fluid around my joints wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
and just that metallic taste that came out from the sauna use, getting rid of whatever that was, gave me a bit of a new lease on life.
And so what I've heard with the metallic taste, because it is common when you do the sauna that you have different tastes. The metallic taste oftentimes is either you're detoxing heavy metals or you're detoxing mold, which, I mean, either could be possible. But if you have a lot of bacteria, you're going to smell the pneumonia smell. So your sweat starts to, I mean, as you sweat the stuff out, you'll smell different smells, and you'll know that you need to keep going or keep doing repeated saunas until you get rid of those smells.
Well, and saunas are really big on detoxing heavy metals too.
The heavy metals,
So,
yeah, any type of toxin, bacteria, viruses. A lot of times people can't do saunas because they're loaded with viruses that flare up, and those you need to go slow, very slow. They can't handle the heat.
Well, this whole dietary transition and the gut health associated with it, I think, is part of that whole puzzle too.
Oh, definitely.
Because if you are pushing all those fluids, you should be going a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know.
AKA pooping. You have to poop.
You don't want to be full of beep.
Poop daily.
So what else here? That's pretty much it. That's the update.
That's your journey right now.
Yeah.
That's what you're putting into practice, and it's really been, like I said at the beginning, a journey. It's been one step at a time, trying something new, and discovering that, hey, this works, and I'm going to implement this also. And the next step is kind of highlighted for what he's needed to do next. And it's the same for me. I didn't do everything all at once.
Well, there are so many things to spend your money on.
Yes.
I mean, these advertisers are chasing me. I don't know if they're chasing you guys, but they're chasing me. They want my money. And
they hear you say it, and it pops up on your phone.
Right. And I did buy a supplement not too long ago, in response to watching a YouTube video, and I got it and tried it, and two things happened. The first thing that happened was those people gave my phone number to somebody, and I started getting all these text messages, and I complained to them, and I got this little apology email, but none of it stopped. And I'll never buy that again, simply because the company is shady.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make money however they can, and they're selling my information. But the supplement didn't work that well. I didn't notice a change. And if you don't notice a change with something,
it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, not everything out there is worth it.
Right.
But when you do run into something, like, for example, for me, this is disassociated from anything you've taught me about, but the beet powder, I can notice a measurable change in my vital signs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I'm an RN, I take vitals all the time. Well, if I see a drop in an improvement, I guess I should say, because the drops aren't always good, but if I see an improvement in my vital signs in response to something I'm doing, and then I take it away and I see that the improvement goes away, I know that supplement is helpful. And so you should be constantly thinking about what you're putting into your body. And maybe, you're probably better at records than I am, but I just take a mental note. If this seems to help me, I'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, why would I waste my money on it?
Okay, so that's really, really good. So from an RN's perspective, what type of vital signs are you looking at?
Well, for me...
What can people at home do? Because anyone can take their pulse.
Oh, yeah.
Some people can take their blood pressure.
Yeah. BP...
What is it that you're doing? What are you looking at?
Well, I have checked my blood sugar a lot over the years.
Your blood sugar.
Yeah, because
So the
even in the
glucose
facilities,
monitor.
they make you test the equipment, and so, but I don't have a problem with blood sugar. It's
Okay.
always fine. But for me, a number of years ago, I started to get hypertensive, and it was during a period of stress in my life, and just my vital signs got all crazy. So then I started checking my blood pressure, and I talked to a physiology professor, and he said, well, you know, if your blood pressure goes this way, you've got probably 6 months to correct it, or your body will start treating it as normal. So then I heard that. I got on a mission. And you know, I think there's mathematical formulas for blood pressure. Like so many pounds of weight loss will lower your top number and your bottom number by a certain amount. Dietary changes, all these things that you can do. So I've started to work on that. So the sauna use and exercise has kept my blood pressure in a good range where I haven't had to worry about taking any meds because I don't really want to.
Yeah.
So
he's 60 and not taking any meds. That's impressive.
well, I take eye drops.
Yes.
I take eye drops for eye pressure,
Yes.
but that's under control and it actually improving with all this stuff I'm doing. So the blood pressure has been something that I think I've kept at bay by being smart.
Yeah. But when you take a supplement, do you look at your pulse? Do you watch that when you're trying a new supplement?
I just keep track of my. I haven't,
Okay.
except for. Do you remember when I bought that pre-workout, post-workout formula that one time, and I ended up with an arrhythmia?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful because I got into this workout program. This was probably a decade ago when I was really like working out really hard. Like I would really like I would work out for an hour or two, for 4 or 5 days a week. And I got into this guy's stuff, and I bought this pre-workout, post-workout formula, and all of a sudden, and all my coworkers, and I'd have them listen, you know, yeah, I had an arrhythmia, and I spent $6,000 going to a cardiologist. I had a stress test. I had scans of my heart. Nothing was really wrong except this arrhythmia. And here I am spending thousands of dollars and talking to this cardiologist. It was it was a nurse practitioner. She was really good. Sometimes I think you're better off going to a really knowledgeable nurse practitioner than, you know, any AD or any doctor, because they're so trained. You know, they've been on the floor and they know how to deal with stuff. And so she was really knowledgeable. We're sitting there talking, and maybe it's the pre-workout formula. What's in it? And I took away those supplements, and the arrhythmia went away. You know, I mean, I was really worried. I was laying in bed. I put my stethoscope on my heart, and I was like, okay, am I going to hear a skip here? You know, and yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was really noticeable. So you do have to be careful.
What you're taking in can affect you. It has to be clean. It has to be stuff that adds value to your body.
And I quit energy drinks for that reason.
Yeah.
It was like bringing in this type of, you know, maybe when you're young and you're in your 20s and you're working out at the gym for 3 hours, you can take this stuff and it won't affect you. But for me, at age 55 or whatever, I was taking this supplement and my heart was skipping beats. That's scary. For anybody buying supplements, you really should be careful. Gauge how you feel, see if it's improving your life or not. And if it's not, don't be afraid to throw that container out. You don't need to take all of it. You know, what is it about us? We don't want to waste it.
We don't want to waste it.
Right, yeah. But if it's garbage, then
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good. Well, thank you. Anything else you...
Yeah, isn't that awful? That was like my $6,000 supplement story.
Yeah. Well, I've spent, we figure probably close to 500,000 on between supplements, doctors over the last 10 years. And I mean,
Somebody's making the Beamer payment.
through that we've learned a lot and living in health now. Not perfect health. I mean, you're not going to reach perfection.
You know what's really interesting is the things that really work are really not that expensive.
Yeah.
Clean water.
Right.
Finding a way to sweat. Move your body.
Yep.
And, you know, prepackaged food, it's not that cheap.
No.
You know, you can cook meals and save money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually the best meats are the cheaper meats. I mean, you were eating liver.
I don't know, that filet mignon you guys bought for my birthday that one time, that was...
Those are pricey, but you get the most nutrients in the liver and the heart, the shank, the roast cuts, the cuts with the more collagen in them, collagen base. You have more nutrients in them, and the hamburger's fairly cheap. It's got the most nutrients in it.
Well, I think people need to really consider what they put in.
Yeah. It's changed my life.
Yeah, so I appreciate you. You've been very helpful to me over the years of, you know, you raise your kids and then when they start giving back to you, it's really cool.
Well, it's been a joy. Well, thank you.